Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our regular podcast show for the Euros on a Wednesday night. We've got a great little panel tonight, and obviously there's Darren. How are you?
Very well, Gaz. Thank you.
Nigel, as always.
Yeah, all good, mate.
All good. And our very special guest tonight is Ian Storey-Moore, Forest legend, Man United, England, and a lot of non-league there as well that we can talk about. So, welcome to the panel, mate.
Thank you very much. Look forward to it. Absolute pleasure to join in, Gaz.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's great having you on. Now, I'm going to let a few people get on, and then we'll give a bit of an insight into how we're going to do the show tonight, because it's going to be slightly different. And I'm just about to do a tiny bit of sharing as well. So yeah, we're just waiting for a few more bods to come on and we can get underway. Now, let's get underway. Right, okay. So how we're going to play this tonight is we're going to do our normal Euro roundup. Obviously, we know the quarterfinals, and then we're going to really move into having a look through Ian's similarities with Nigel's career as well there. And we're going to do a bit of a Q&A for people to ask questions as well at some point. So, people, as you're joining us, please don't fire questions over straight away. We are going to do a Q&A as the evening goes on. And, yeah, just fire over your normal comments about the Euros and how wonderful England have been in them and stuff like that, yeah? And we'll come on to a Q&A a little bit later where you can ask whatever questions you wish to ask. Right, let's get started. Let's just quickly look at our quarterfinal lineup, which I do have here, gentlemen, and we shall deliberate that. So we now know that's the quarterfinal lineup. Some great games that we've seen. The save from the Turkey keeper last night. We'll touch on that. But look, I'll quickly, so we can get this photo off. We've got Germany, Spain, obviously Portugal, France. They're both tasty, aren't they? England, Switzerland, obviously we're going to talk about that one. And Netherlands, Turkey. So, interesting. Now, did you guys watch any of it last night?
Yeah.
Did you see the save?
Oh, unbelievable, wasn't it, really?
What a save.
Reminiscent of Gordon Banks, wasn't it? Mexico, 1970, was it?
Yeah.
What a save. Unbelievable.
It was, wasn't it? And they've been discussing that all through the day on many platforms. And to be quite honest with you, in all fairness, they were saying, is it better than Banks's? But the majority of them have said no.
No, yeah.
They said no because everything it isn't. But it is probably one of the best saves in the Euros that we've seen, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether Gordon Banks ever played in the Euros, but
no.
But no, absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Any surprises over the last couple of days, chaps? Let's start with you, Ian.
Surprises. Well, I think we'll all be disappointed with the dismal performances of England, won't we? Really, we expected better so far. I mean, they've looked a bit probably heartless, guileless, and clueless at times, haven't they? Really, they've got this, as Gareth keeps saying, that they've got this spirit that keeps them within the grasp of getting back into games. But I think you'd probably expect more from such a talented squad that Gareth has at his disposal. So I think in terms of overall performances, it's been a bit dismal, hasn't it? Really, and let's hope we can. I think we'll have to be a massive improvement against Switzerland at the weekend.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Ian. I think people sort of criticising people who've been quite critical of the England performances and whatever else. I think they're missing the mark on what people actually upset about it. And I think it is. Literally, for me, it is about the performances. They're poor. Yes, we're winning, but is it any different to what we'd ever seen in the other previous 3 tournaments that Southgate's been in charge of? It's not. And I think that's the problem. We're all, we're getting through, but is it going to be the same story that we play someone decent and we're out?
Yeah, I mean, we have been lucky with the draw, haven't we? Really, I don't want to be a bad thing,
extremely, yeah.
You know, I mean, with respect, we haven't really, you know, no disrespect to the teams I'm going to mention, but you know, the Slovakias and the Slovenias and the other teams we played. I mean, they're not the best in the world, are they? And you know, I think we should be beating those countries quite comfortably, really, Gary. You can understand if we played Spain maybe or Germany and we hadn't played particularly well, but I think you would expect better performances against the teams that we played so far.
I think getting back to the Slovenia match against Portugal, yeah, a lot of people were laughing at Ronaldo crying at half time and extra time, but I thought they'd done brilliant, Slovenia.
Oh,
you know, they went out there, they give it everything. It was a bit comical actually, because every free kick that Portugal got, Ronaldo was trying to score, whether it's from 35 yards or. I mean, he couldn't score.
What about the one from the wing? I mean, I said to myself, surely he's not going to shoot from here, but he did do, didn't he?
I mean, on that night, he couldn't score in a brothel. Right? And I said that halfway through the game. He was just wanting to take everything.
Oh, yeah. I've got to be honest. I think sometimes I'm thinking it's all about him, the game, isn't it? Really, and how good he can be. And you know, I've got to score and I've got to be the kingpin of the team. But I think he's got to sort of try and relax a wee bit and let some of the other players have the accolades as well.
He's coming in for quite a bit of criticism over that very point. Actually, that he's trying to make the game all about him.
Yeah, I think he is.
And maybe there are players who. Could do a better job right now.
Yeah, I think you've got to be strong as a manager with you know, you need an Alex Ferguson or a Brian Clough. And if the top players aren't playing well, you've got to have the guts and the determination to leave them out the side, Gaz, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Darren, any surprises for you out of the last 16 games?
Well, I don't want to talk about England because I've made my feelings clear about Ronaldo. No surprises there. The Ronaldo show. Still a great player though. But I want to talk about the Austria-Turkey match last night because that was just fabulous, wasn't it? I mean, a goal always helps a game. Driving rain as well, where the surface is a bit slippery. There's always a chance for a mistake. But the energy of the match was something to behold. Honestly, I think I pulled. I think I had a bit of cramp after 65 minutes watching it. It was that absorbing. I wanted the Austrians to win. They've been a breath of fresh air for the tournament, but you can't take it away from Turkey. They were clinical with their chances. And regarding the save, this is going to be controversial, but you know me, Gaz.
Oh, we wouldn't be happy without a bit of controversy.
When I watched it at first, I thought, whoa, yeah, fantastic. But I've watched it again, and I think it's a save that he should make. He's a big guy. The ball's bounced up to the height up here. The ball's in the middle of the goal. He's only slightly to the left of the goal, so it's well within range. And obviously, he's made the save. Fantastic. Gordon Banks, he's had to go from the near post to the far post, a downward header. So he's diving down and the ball bouncing up, and then he's still got to scoop it over the bar from, you know.
You're right. There's streets apart, aren't they?
Yeah. It was a really, really good save last night. Superb, in fact. But as far as the greatest ever, no way. I'm not having it.
And I think the general consensus is heading that way anyway. You know, even though they're trying to big it up as.
I think the two sides, Austria and Turkey. I mean, they showed you what it meant to get progressing further in that tournament. They were going hell for leather. You know, there was none of this. Let's pass it sideways, backwards until we got 1 minute left of the match, and then we'll start lobbing it forward. There was urgency in that match all the way through it to want to win. And, you know, at the end of the whistle, you felt sorry for Austria. But I'd have felt the same way if Turkey had lost the match, because they both went out there and left their hearts on the field. You know,
certainly did.
I think it's fair because my other favourite game of the tournament has been Georgia-Turkey.
Wow.
It was fantastic. I was, again, another, you know, absorbing game, you know, and probably more like the old-fashioned football. It was like end to end. It was amazing. I really did enjoy that game. And Turkey had been involved in both classic games. I thought the Netherlands what was the Netherlands one? Where they won 3-2.
Yeah, the bit
3-2. That was all. That was against
Austria.
Austria. That was a good game.
Yeah, it was. Who did the Netherlands beat the other day?
Romania.
Yeah, quite comfortable, wasn't it? Really, probably.
Yeah.
Best performance they've had so far.
Can I just say one thing? I was listening to Ivan Toney on his interview today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now this is exactly what we've all been discussing over the last few weeks. Right, they were asking him how they prepare themselves for the next match, and he says our training revolves around how the other team play.
Really?
So we're worrying about how they're going to play instead of worrying about letting them worry about how we're going to play. And I thought you summed it up in one word there. But you said we go out and we play against a team that would be playing their tactics. So he obviously sets out a team against them, and that's how they practice. But
if I can just break in there, guys, it's funny talking about that because Brian Clough was exactly the same, Nigel, as you would probably know. He wasn't concerned about the opposition whatsoever. This is the way we play. This is my best 11. Do your jobs. I don't want to know about the opposition. Yeah. That was Brian Clough's mantra.
Graham Taylor's same way.
Was he the same? Was he, Nigel?
Yeah, we set our team out to score goals. We beat Everton 5-4 in one match. We beat Southampton 7-1 in the cup. We beat Sunderland 8-0 in the league.
Oh, crikey.
You know, we lost 7-3 to Forest in the cup.
Really?
But we scored goals, and you scored a chance winning.
Nigel, just want to point out that after the 7-1 win over Southampton, we went on to beat the then League Cup holders, I believe it was, Nottingham Forest 4-1.
Yeah.
Apparently, all Cliffy used to say before the game, the lads were telling me, Robbo and Martin O'Neill and well, and they were just saying he used to put the ball down, the match ball or whatever it was, a ball on the table, and a treatment team said, right, he says, this is a pot of gold. He said, you do not give it away. And that was his team talk.
I'll tell you what we do, because we're obviously going to talk a lot more about Cluffy and that as we go through the show. But what I just do now, let's have a little go round and get a feel for who you think's going to win out of the 4 quarterfinals that we have.
Right.
So let's start with oh God, I forgot.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
I forgot. Is it Germany against Spain? I mean that is going to be a corker, isn't it?
Wow.
Darren, go on. You start us off. What do you think to that one, mate? Don't take too long though, please.
Spain for me. Yeah, Spain. They were my pre-tournament tips to get to the final against France, but that can't happen because France inexplicably came second in their group. But yeah, I've every confidence that Spain will beat Germany. How about that?
That Nigel?
I'm complete opposite, mate. I said from the start, I think Germany they're a beast that comes alive when they get to the final stages. They're on home turf. I probably the winner's going to come from the Germany-Spain game, and that's not being negative to England, but on form, that's what you got to think. Probably the winner's going to come from that result. But I'm sticking with Germany at the moment.
Ian, what are your thoughts?
I think I'll side with Darren. I think I managed to watch the Spain game the other night. I forget who they were playing now, but and the 2 players that really impressed me, myself and Nigel would appreciate this. The 2 wide players, I thought they were a real threat. Funny, an English name called Nico Williams. Actually, he's not the fullback at Forest, by the way. No, I thought he was a real threat, and I thought, my word, he would make a big difference in the England team. And the boy down the right-hand side, I can't quite remember his name, but I thought those 2 in particular looked a real threat. And I think I'd just side with Darren a wee bit and think that Spain might just edge that one. And I think they'll certainly get to the final, Spain.
Cool. I'm going to go Spain, but I'm going to do it quickly. Right, we move on. France against Portugal. Let's go the other way round. Ian.
France against Portugal. Been a bit disappointed in watching the French team play, actually. I think they've been a wee bit disappointed. Mbappe in particular, actually, he hasn't quite functioned at his best yet, has he? Mbappe, I know he's had that nasty injury to his nose, but watched him again the other night and I thought it was a wee bit disappointing. So I think once he gets his act together, I think there'll be more of a threat. But, sorry, who did you say they're playing again? Sorry, France, Portugal. France, Portugal. Tricky one, that, actually. if it was I do like a bet now and again, but I'm not sure which way I'd go with those two actually. Very tricky. Probably if I had to put my neck on the block, I would probably think I think France. I think because they're pretty good defensively. I think they don't just seem to concede many goals, and I think they might just scrape through.
I think France. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I'm going for France. I mean, I just think it'll click into place in the next match. And
I think there'll be too much for Portugal. Darren, come on, throw some controversy in there and be different.
Well, isn't it bizarre that you three have gone for a team that scored 3 goals in the tournament, 1 penalty and 2 own goals, and I'm going to join you. I think it will be France as well.
Yeah.
I'm popping up some of the comments that are coming up, chaps. If you want to pick up on any of them, just shout in, yeah?
No clues needed to know.
Keep them coming, guys, as well. Good evening, Andrew. Good evening, Adam. Charlie, hello, mate. You never did come on when we did the Scotland game, mate. But hey-ho, never mind. We'll have you on another time. But yeah, people, Ben Cliff, evening. Join us with the comments. Keep them coming in. Don't ask questions of Ian yet, if you don't mind. Save them. We'll do a Q&A. We're just going to cover off through the Euros now. Then we're going to move on to having a look back with Ian at his career with Forest, Man United, and a dose of England as well. Right, okay. Where did we get to? Was England last? So the next one, obviously, Netherlands against Turkey. Let's start with Nigel.
Oh, that's a hard one, isn't it? Sure. I'm going to go. I think that game will go to pens. So I'm not going to say which one's going to win, but I think it will go to pens.
Oh, he's on the fence.
Come on, Gary. Last pound. Come on.
Right, listen, on form, if you got to pick, I'd pick Turkey.
You're going to go Turkey. Okay. Darren?
Yeah, I think it's the hardest one of the lot to call, in my opinion. But I agree with Kelly. It could go all the way, but I'm going to tip Turkey just because I think it'll feel like a home game for them. That's it. Whoever's got the most support will win. And I think Turkey will have 3/4 of the stadium because I think it's in Berlin, they were saying on TV last night. And Berlin's got one of the highest Turkish populations in the world. And it might mean nothing. It's going to feel like a home game for Turkey. So Turkey for me.
Ian?
I'm going to disagree with the two guys, actually. I'm going to go Netherlands, actually. I'm quite impressed with I think it was their second half performance last night. I thought they looked quite a threat going forward, actually, with Gakpo. I think, and a couple of decent, I think they've got one or two, or probably 3 or 4 really talented players in the Netherlands. And I think if they could function effectively on the night, I think that they'd probably edge it. Although, as Nigel and Dan have quite rightly said, Turkey, they've been a real handful. The very fit side. Very physical, so it'll be a difficult game. But I think I would just edge it for the Netherlands.
I'm going Netherlands. I think they arrived at half-time at the tournament last night, so I'm going. And it's going to be very interesting our next show to see how we all got on with that. Then, right, the big one, England, Switzerland. Who wants to start?
Well, I think we'll edge it again. Actually. I just do. I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't really seen Switzerland play, and people who have watched them say that they're half decent. So it'll be a difficult game, but I think what I'm thinking about, will Gareth make any changes for this game, or will he keep it as it's been? That'll be an interesting point of view from my side, actually. I just think that do we need 2 holding midfield players against these sides? I'm not so sure. I mean, I was looking at it the other night, and Rice, I think he nearly played in the back 4 for most of the game, didn't he, against Slovenia? I mean, listen, he's been terrific for Arsenal, don't get me wrong, but I think in this tournament, I think he's played a little bit too deep, and I think he's been a little bit negative. I think we need somebody like a Gascoigne. Can you remember Gaz? I mean, he used to get the ball in midfield, drive forward, beat people, go past people, score a goal. I think that's what we're missing, actually. Somebody that can sort of get through that midfield third, get it there back 4, and make something happen. I think that would be a big plus if we could find somebody who could do that in the side.
It was on They were interviewing Tony on TV as if like he was going to be playing. There was a certain one of the papers. It was saying that they might revert to 4-4-2 and stick Tony up front with.
Well,
Kane.
I was just going to ask you lads that. What do you think? I mean, to me, Harry Kane's looked a bit laboured, hasn't he, in his tournament? I wonder if they put somebody like Tony alongside of him where he can feed off the scraps, because Tony will put himself about, won't he? I wonder if that would give us another, another thorn in the side that could probably cause problems for the Swiss side. Because he is a handful, Tony, isn't he? And he might just be a massive help for Harry Kane. As I suggested, he's been looked to be a bit laboured in his tournament, hasn't he?
Kev Sherry says Cole Palmer. So I've been impressed with Cole.
Yeah,
I think it's what England team actually turn up on the night, and if he's not going to change the plays, he's got to change the tactics. There's got to be more urgency. There's got to be more tempo. More speed in the game. Like a bit like them two teams played yesterday. Austria and Turkey. It's like their life depended on it.
You see, I think we're just having a team full of Premiership players now. They don't play like in the Premiership now. It's all this passing game, isn't it? Possession passing, and they're trying to play like for the countries now. You're quite rightly. You'd like to see a bit more tempo to the team, wouldn't you, really? A bit more aggression, a bit more physicality, get amongst people, try and make things happen. But probably, that's how they play for the Premiership team, so it looks like they continue to play that for the England side.
If the proper England team turn up, I think we'll win it.
Yeah,
they've not turned up yet, have they?
No, absolutely not.
No, I think before we let Darren have his say on it, I mean, for me, I think if they play the way they did or have for this tournament, then I'm going to go Switzerland, because I think they will beat us on the performances we've seen and on what I've seen of Switzerland. I just don't think we can push our luck again like we have. But if England can turn up at this tournament, then realistically, it's got to be England. They've got to turn up. They've got to mix it up a bit, be a bit more high pressing. A bit. I think it's just the sluggishness, the slow ball. I don't think that's going to work against Switzerland. So,
I think the other biggest problem, I mean, we haven't created many chances at all, have we, in games? I mean, very, very few in terms of creativity in the side at the moment. I mean, we've got to try and up the game in that respect, haven't we, really, in terms of having shots at goal, creating chances, etc. But that's been really disappointing from my point of view.
It's a difficult one to call, because I think it really is a case of it's going to depend what England turn up on how you call it. If England turn up the way they did the other night, I don't think that we'll get away with it. If England turn up and play more to what we would think with the quality they got can do, then I think, yes, I think we'll get through. Darren, go on. What's yours, mate?
Yeah, I can't believe that anybody who's watched both teams this tournament thinks England will win. It's Switzerland definitely for me. There's too many if England do this, if England do that, if England do the other. It's not happened in the tournament. Why is he going to start now against classier opposition? I think we're tailor-made for Switzerland to do some real damage. I think I've been harping on about the fact about all our play is so slow and measured. And with our wide players, they're coming in all the time. They're very, very predictable. Look at the Spain wingers, which Ian was talking about earlier. They go inside, they go outside, unpredictable, and they're pacey and direct. England is ponderous all over the park. I think it's a no-brainer for me that Switzerland are going to win. Just one more thing. If we weren't English and we're going with the evidence what we see, everyone would agree Switzerland, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You're probably right there. We're probably being patriotic, aren't we, really? Wanting England to win. And you're quite right, Darren. Yeah, absolutely 100% right there.
I hope England win, but
of course.
Ian,
you are right.
We had a little thing after on Sunday, and despite England winning in dramatic circumstances, we to a man was very flat, weren't we? Just saying, we just got through to the quarterfinals, and we're all like, that's what England following this England is doing to us. Yeah, I think we'll come up short on Saturday, but fingers crossed we don't.
Again, I think it's. I mean, we said about the toughest one being Netherlands, Turkey. I think this is the hardest one to call because we don't know what side England are going to be when they play. You know, because like we've said, if they carry on the way they are, I don't think we can do it. I think Switzerland have been very well disciplined side. They have got some good players. They can certainly score goals. Yeah, but if England, I don't know. We've got to see. Will England turn up this tournament? And this comes back to what I was saying earlier, gentlemen, where you know, a lot of people are sort of like, why are you not behind the side or whatever? It's not about all that. We all want England to win. We're all happy they're through, but it's this constant nagging fear that we're seeing replication of the last 3 tournaments, and therefore we struggle to have any hope, I guess. But look.
Can I just ask a question, Guy? To the other lads, do you think Gareth will make changes?
I don't know. If he does, it'll only be one.
One, yeah.
Well, he's got to make one anyway in defence, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you know, in terms of the wide players, will he start with Palmer? Will he start with Gordon down the left? Where will he play Foden? You know, what sort of setup will he have in the middle of the park? I just wondered, you know, what the lads thought about that. Yeah.
I don't think he'll make any changes apart from the central defence.
The thing that worries me is like we've discussed this before, but when we've gone 1-0 up or 2-1 up, we've then sat back and invited them to come into us, and we've got 10 men in our own half. As we progress in the tournament, and you're coming up against better sides. You know, you sit in your own half and try and defend the lead. They'll rip us apart.
Yeah, absolutely. And
that's the bit that concerns me. So we play deep. Once we go in front, we play deep, and we invite teams onto us.
Well, I think I mentioned that about the way, you know, I mean, do you honestly think we need 2 holding it? Probably we do when we play the better teams, but 2 holding midfield players against the teams that we've played against, Darren?
I agree, Ian.
I might be wrong.
I put something on my Facebook page saying that we're going to have to play 2 holding midfielders, especially against the top sides, because I don't rate our defence. I thought, you know, before the tournament, it was a weak link. So, you know, playing against Slovenia and Serbia and Denmark and Slovenia and whoever the other team was, I didn't think we needed to.
No, I didn't.
But it's telling that you said that that Southgate is setting the team up to how he thinks the opposition will play. Very telling. Also, another telling thing is, I think I mentioned it on Sunday, that Gareth Southgate, don't forget, obviously last Sunday was a knockout game, and we was all a bit dismayed by the lack of changes. And he said it's because he trusted them, didn't he? He trusted them. So is he not going to trust them now, you know, like 6 days on? I don't see that's the case. So minimal changes.
That's a really good point, because then he just comes out as a bit of a hypocrite and a liar. If we want him to change side, but you're right. He said he didn't change side because he trusted him. So if he genuinely did trust them, all right. I know look with the skin of his teeth, they got there. But if he does trust them the way he says he does, then there will be no changes. You're right.
I'm just reading the comments from somebody at the bottom of the page there saying that, and he's quite right in saying that we are in the quarter final, and you know that's probably why he doesn't want to change the side, which is fair enough. You know, let them see what they can do in the quarter final.
But we've said all along, it's not the fact that the players aren't good enough. It's that he hasn't got them playing for him at the moment, and that's the big problem. They're not performing. They're in the quarterfinals. It's easy to stick with that same 11 players that he's got, but if he's honest with himself, they haven't been playing well as a team.
No,
he can't kid himself that they have been. You know, he's got to do something. He changes the tactics, and he's got to bring some fresh blood in.
Yeah.
Right, so we're going to have to wait and see, gentlemen, aren't we? But I've enjoyed the tournament so far. I've got to be honest with you. I think it's been great. I think the fans have been fantastic. Every club's got such a big support. colourful, noisy, loud, great atmospheres in the ground. The German stadiums are fantastic. You know, even though Dortmund have tried their hardest to look like Old Trafford with their water floods, but
Gaz, can I make a quick point about the stadium? Well, particularly, there's one pitch that's been getting a bit of criticism. And
oh yeah,
the one in Frankfurt. I think England played Denmark there, and nights ago there was a game, and players were slipping in the bobbly pitch.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I couldn't help thinking back to the generations gone by. Would love to have played on a pitch like that.
Oh yeah,
that a bobbly pitch.
That was like a bowling green. That
would they?
Should have played at a baseball ground, mate.
Yeah.
Look, that was like a bowling green, Darren.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
By all accounts, they played some NFL games there in November, and it ruined the pitch. And they've just not got it back to where it should be, is what I've heard. Right. But you're right. It's like it was
not
still
that, was it?
Okay, just let's pop this one up. Charlie, I'll explain another time why you might have been outbeaten, but they've looked pretty good against some of the other sides, Charlie. That's just answering something that's popped up there. And come on, mate. I mean, we all want to get behind England, and we do, but they do have to change things up. Right, okay, just want to say a massive respect to Georgia as a nation and Romania as a nation too. Brought so much positivity and colour to the Euros. Yeah, absolutely. Just backing up. It's been a great Euros, I think, as well. Quickly that. And then I really do want to move on then to talking through with Ian about his career. The likes of Spain, Portugal, etc. When they go a goal down, they attack. We go backwards and go on the defensive. We did go on the defensive in the second half of the extra time, didn't we? When they were 2-1 up, we went back again.
I've got to say, can I just say a big hello to Kev Sherry? He's Storey-Moore Reds legend. Kevin, he actually lives over in the States, Ian.
Oh, right, okay,
yeah. Forest fan, massive Forest fan.
Oh, right. Oh,
there you go. Yeah, absolutely. And this is a great opportunity now to turn our attention to our very special guest, Ian Storey-Moore, as Reds legend, as Kevin has quite rightly pointed out. So we're so pleased to have you on, mate, and privileged, I would say. So look, we're gonna kick off. So obviously you've become an all-time legend of Nottingham Forest, and obviously your career started at Nottingham Forest. But before all that, I just want to go back a little bit further with the fact we got Nigel on with us as well. Nigel, obviously, very much brought up under Graham Taylor. You played with Graham for Scunthorpe Boys, didn't you?
Absolutely right. Yeah, we didn't go to the same schools, but we played in the same Scunthorpe Boys team when we were 15. And I remember Graham was a big, strong boy, and I was a bit of a skinny waif at that time, 15. And so I think Graham got selected for a trial for England boys, and I didn't get one because of my size, actually. But, it's strange how our careers went different ways, wasn't it, really? But, I've got the greatest respect for Graham, tell you. You couldn't think Nigel know a lot more about him than I do, but we remained friends for a long time. And when I was scouting at Villa, he used to come into my office and we used to have a cup of tea because he lived in the Birmingham area. And he had a sort of a bit of torrid time, didn't he, with the England team? Got an awful lot of stick, didn't he, off the press and the crowds, etc. But from a personal point of view, I just thought he was a really nice, pleasant person, and he did a remarkable job for your club, didn't he, in what he did for them. Absolutely wonderful job.
Someone's dog's definitely agreeing with you with that. But
look, it's my one at the moment. I'll go and give it a clip out here.
I mean, Nigel, as knew him as a manager. I just knew him as a sort of a friend, and played at such an early stage of my career. But I went to one or two functions with him, dinners and that with his wife, and down in the London area. And I just think he was just a very nice, pleasant gentleman, and had a wonderful managerial career, especially at Watford.
Yeah, and when we had Barnsley on and the other players on with us as well who have dealt with Graham, Nigel, like you say, all highly talk so highly of him as a manager.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when he came to the club, nobody knew who the hell he was. You know, I think he's one of the youngest managers about at the time. And the first thing he done was he changed the whole youth system.
Did he?
Got Tom Waddy in. The youth system all changed, which was proved because all the players that came through the youth team all got a career out of football. Most of them did. You knew where you stood with Graham. You know, you didn't cross the line with him. He was one of them that it's total opposite to Cloughy. He wouldn't give you 4 days off. He used to say to the lads, if any of you got girlfriends and wives and kids, don't make any plans to go out in the afternoons apart from Friday, because you train morning and afternoon every day.
Really?
Cool. Yeah, that was it. So
look, what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly run through the career that you've had, Ian, and then what we do. I want to touch on the book as well.
Yeah,
and I've got some things to put to you, and then open up to YouTube chat, whatever you want, and people. And we've already had some questions coming in. We'll pass them over shortly. You can fire any questions you want over to anyone on the panel. You don't, if you want to ask me a question, and not that you will, but you want to.
No,
you can guess. I know the feeling.
But yeah, right. Look, so Ian, 1962, you start at Derby. At Forest. Oh, mate, that's not. I'm thinking Cloughy, innit? Yeah. Cloughy tried to get you there, didn't he? But we'll touch on that in a bit. You start at Forest, 100 goals you score. In that time, you also get an England call-up. We'll touch on that a bit more because there's a bit more to that than that. And so we'll touch on that in a little while. From 72 to 74, obviously, you were, if I'm right in thinking, at the time, I think it was 275,000 was the highest.
I think there was 3 of us. If I may just come in there, Gary.
Yeah.
There was 3 of us. Myself, Alan Ball, and Martin Peter. We all went for about just over 200,000. I think that was a record at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you won't get a ball boy for that now, would you? 200.
Yeah, I mean, but,
200 grand. Yeah.
Wow. So you spent a couple of years at Man United, and then unfortunately you picked up your injury. I'm just going to go through this, and then we'll analyse things a bit more.
Whatever.
You move over then to play some football at a lower level because of the injury. You play and manage at Burton Albion. You also spend some time over in Chicago playing for Chicago Sting. That'd be interesting to get a bit of feedback on that in a bit. And also, you were at Shepshed Charterhouse for a while. So you've moved on after that. You was scouting for Villa, for Forest as well. So that's the career we want to look into. We got the book. Let me just show you the book, people. Now, this, and I'm going to be a salesman, right? I've not finished it, but it's got some great photos in there as well, people. It's available on Amazon. What can I say about this book is that this might be an autobiography for Ian, but trust me, it's got everyone you want to ever read about is in this book, and there's stories about everyone. It's an amazing book, and some fantastic pictures in there as well. So for people who don't want to read, they got lots of pictures you can look at. It is a great book, and it is available on Amazon, and I presume some other areas as well. But yeah, give it some more. He will score. Martin O'Neill had some great things to say about you in the book as well, didn't he? Sort of like,
yeah, Martin. I mean, I'd established myself in the team when Martin came to the football club, but he proved eventually that what a talented player he was, and we've always remained big friends, Martin and I, and of course, he was kind enough to give me a job at Villa where Nigel played in the past, and still big friends with Martin. I mean, and John the great John Robertson, he was just sort of developing as a young player. I think I only played about 3 or 4 times with those 2 players because I was a little bit older than them. And even at that age, when they were in the early sort of teens, you could see that both of them were developing to wonderful players, which proved to be so. So it was nice to sort of participate in their career somewhat in a small sort of way. And as I say, we still meet up. I still see Robbo every Thursday, and we have a chat and with some of the other players and ex-players, should I say? And it's quite an enjoyable experience every Thursday. So yeah, I mean, when I first went to Forest, it was difficult breaking through in those days, as Nigel will probably tell you. There were some very, very physical players about at that time, and if you didn't have a mental toughness about you, it was difficult to sort of actually make the grade. So you had to be, and I was fortunate in respect that I had a reserve team trainer called Jack Burkett, and he was captain of the cup winning team in 1959, and Jack was as hard as nails. And he instilled in me, he thought, saw something in me in terms of ability, but he knew I wanted toughening up, building up. And he used to run the legs off me in afternoons, probably like Graham did with Nigel there, and up and down the stands in the weight room. So it really helped me in my career in terms of building me up, in terms of being strong enough to play at that high level.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think what it was, I mean, Ian, you'll agree with me. Back in our day, full-backs were given a 20-minute window to kick hell out of us before the referee even told them off.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And so you just got up and you gave as good as you got.
Yeah, you had to, didn't you, really, Nigel? Or you went under, didn't you? I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, but I mean, I think every team had, sort of 4 or 5 players who could put it about. Probably a euphemism for dirty bastards, really, but I can remember, the Southamptons. I mean, of course, that Leeds team with the Hunters, the Giles, the Bremen. My word, they were difficult to play against. So you had to be resolute even to compete at that level. And but it was a tough old time. I mean, my good friend John Robertson said he thought it was probably one of the hardest times to play between the late 60s and the sort of mid 70s. I remember. The Liverpool team was Souness and Jimmy Case, and I mean, they could put it about, couldn't they?
Them boys would kick their own grandmothers. Them Liverpool boys back in them days. Dalglish, he was the naughty sod. Best player I've ever played against, but he'd kick his own grandmother to get the ball. He would.
Johnny Giles, well, I mean, what a terrific player, what a wonderful footballer. But my word, he used to go over the ball, didn't he? Usually professional football probably don't know what that means, but when nasty cattles, just left the ball and caught your shin, didn't they? And they were breaking leg tackles, weren't there, in those days? So yeah, it was difficult, but managed to survive and make the grade eventually, Gaz, and broke into the first team, and so all went well from there for a few years.
Well, Darren, you got, because we're getting the number of questions popping up now, which I'll raise up shortly, and obviously I want to go through some of the facts and that, and ask some questions myself. But you've done quite a bit of research. Anything you'd like to put to Ian?
Well, no, it was just interesting talking about growing up in your era, and like Callie said about 20 minutes to get a few hits on you. But I remember playing Sunday League football in the 90s. And that's exactly what went on then. Really? Probably still goes on now. So obviously the level is nowhere near, but you had to be careful, and especially if they stunk of alcohol, which they probably didn't do.
Mate, they get 90 minutes on a Sunday. What you on about? Not 20.
Just a question for Ian. He's he was born in Ipswich, and I saw that he made his debut for Forest against his hometown club. How long did you stay in Ipswich for? Was there any interest from them? And how did you end up at Forest before this debut?
Yeah, well, what happened was I was actually born in Ipswich, but I didn't live there for too long. My father was an architect, so he moved up to Scunthorpe, of course, where Graham Taylor was brought up, actually. Graham Taylor went to school in Scunthorpe. I eventually went to school there when I came up to Scunthorpe. So really, I was brought up there, actually. And I was fortunate in respect to how I got to Forest, down, because the coach at the time was a guy called Joe Mallet, and he had been in the RF with a guy called Joe McCormack, and he used to watch me play local football in Scunthorpe, probably times with Graham Taylor, and he recommended me to Forest. and through Joe Mallet, and went for a couple of trials, and they took me on board, fortunately. So, but I don't know what happened when Nigel was going through that youth system, but when I was, when all those many years ago, when I was sort of trying to break through at 17, if you didn't sign a professional contract, you're just gone. They didn't give you another year if they thought you had a bit of ability to say, well, we'll give him another year and have a look at him in another year's time, see whether he grows or not. But at 17, they made a decision on you. And, I lost a lot of good friends who had started at Forest at 16, only been there sort of a year, 18 months. And unfortunately, they drifted away out of football. And I was one of the lucky ones, got a professional contract, and it went on from there.
I was 8.5 stone, mate, when I joined Watford, and they said to me, I said to my mum and dad that the first year I'd probably get a few games in the reserves because of my size. They needed to build me up and all that lot.
Yeah.
But I proved them wrong. I made my first team debut at the end of the season.
Brilliant.
So, but yeah, I know what you're on about. I was one of them that there was a question mark above my head whether they should have signed me or not.
Yeah.
And they said, look, we're going to take a chance on him. And it was me and a guy called Charlie Palmer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were the two that they weren't expecting to make it. The other threes were certs, and we was the only two that got a career out of it in the end.
I remember we had to go on the ground stuff. I don't know how you started. We had to in the mornings. We sort of clean round the ground, clean the players' boots, and so we had to work in the morning, train in the afternoon. And I remember I think the first sort of week or so I was in digs. And I got my wage packet to Nigel, and it was just £4.50, and the digs were £4. So I had to go and see the manager. I mean, rather reluctantly, he was Andy Beat, a guy called Andy Beat, rather stern Scotsman. I knocked on his door sort of surreptitiously and asked him, "I'm sorry, Mr. Beat, I've only got 50 pence for the rest of the week." And he said, "Well, I'll give you another £2." So I had £2 spending money. Wonderful, eh?
I think I was on £15 as an apprentice.
I got £4.50.
Whose boots did you have to clean?
Sorry.
Just the first team players. I can't remember who. I think.
I remember we got 2 players each, like 2 or 3, and we had to clean their boots all the time.
Yeah. I remember John Robertson, he laughs about it now because he said he used to clean my boots. And he said, I never gave him a tip at Christmas. So I said, well, I wouldn't, John. I played in white boots and you used them black polish on them. So that's why I never give him a tip. But, so we laugh about it now, yeah.
So we're getting a number of questions coming up from people now, which I want to cover off. But I do want to explore a couple of elements. So obviously, Forest, you've really made your name there. You've done well. Yeah. You get recognised for an England call-up. And I just want to touch this because it is part of the book. Remember the book, everyone. You've got to get it. Fantastic. So I'm going to sell your book for you. No, but in the book, it does say that, you had your England call-up. You played against Holland and you played against a young Johan Cruyff. In that game, you had a good game. I think you were saying earlier, goal disallowed, 1 cleared off the line, and it looked like you were set to go out to the 1970 Mexico World Cup with the England squad, which would have been almost the World Cup winning England squad.
Semi-final, yeah,
right. That's that's what we're talking about here, and you picked up a really bad injury and it ruined your chance to play for England.
It did. Yeah, I mean, as I played on the Wednesday, I think it was probably 2 or 3 late. So we played against Man City, an awful wet January afternoon. I'm sure Nigel played at the old Man City ground, and it was, it wasn't a particularly good service. But it was this particular day. It wasn't a very nice day. It was wet. It was horrible, cloudy. One of those horrible January days. And I remember the surface was quite greasy and that. And I'd got through on goal and I'd actually shot, and about, I don't know, it seemed an age later, somebody come and slid into me and took me apart. And unfortunately, I snapped all the ligaments in my ankle and unfortunately never played again that season. So, I've been in the squad for the Mexico trip, but for the World Cup at the end of that season. And unfortunately, because of the injury, I didn't get the opportunity to go. Now, whether I would have played or not, I don't know. I probably wouldn't have been in the team, but you never know, might have gone on and got on the team at some occasion. And so, you know, it was a really disappointing time of my life, actually. I mean, I'm sure Nigel will tell you it's every boyhood's dream to play for England. I thought, and actually, Alf Ramsey said to me after the game at Wembley, you know, against Holland, he said that you did enough tonight. He said you'll be in the next squad, which was against Belgium, I think, in 3 weeks or 4 weeks' time. And I thought, well, brilliant, you know, look forward to that. And unfortunately, in the end, I had that bad injury. Yeah,
I was I know exactly how you feel, Ian. I was in the under-21 squad that won the UEFA Cup, and we played Everton in the cup final with Watford, and we got beat. So, you know, it's horrible when you're at Wembley and you're sort of the losing side, and you just want to get off the pitch quick enough.
Yeah,
I was fortunate enough that 5 days later we were playing the second leg of the UEFA Cup final against Spain. And I got to play in that. Dave Sexton was a manager.
Oh yeah,
we won it. So yeah, football's a strange game. You know, 1 minute you're at the top of your game, next minute you get an injury, and everything.
You need good fortune, don't you, and a bit of luck, you know, in football, don't you? And
back in our day, and especially your day, you know, the older you are, the treatment that you got for injuries like that,
it was non-existent. You know. I mean, I'm not being trying to discredit the treatment I got at Man United, but it wasn't particularly good at all. I mean, they didn't actually know what it was. The problem in those days, Nigel, there wasn't any scans. So consequently, when the swelling of my ankle went down, the X-ray, so they saw there was nothing broken. So consequently, when the swelling went down, they thought I'd be all right again. They thought, well, that's all right, nothing broken, it'll be fine. What they didn't realise that the main ligament in my ankle was severed. So they didn't know that. So I tried to train, I tried to play, and unfortunately, just, you know, I could eventually run in a late round, but when I stopped quickly or tried to, you know, deviate one way or the other, it just used to go again. So, you know, it's a really difficult time for me there. And it really, you know, to sort of get to a great club like Man United and want to do well and, you know, have the opportunity and privilege to be on the same pitch as George Best, Bobby Charlton and Dennis Law. It was, you know, it was really sad for me that I only played 40 games there, and really disappointing.
I'll tell you what wasn't disappointing, and this is where I've got a bit of footage. Now, if I ask any Forest fan, what is their best memory of Ian Storey-Moore, they're always going to say FA Cup final against Everton, hat-trick, and here it is.
Oh, crikey.
This will bring back some memories, mate. Let me get it lined up. Here we go. Watch this, everybody.
Storey-Moore. Manley. A bone cutting all those up. There's a bad one, and now it's Whitnall. On the chest for Moore. He's in the line. Moore has scored. Moore has scored, number 11. And Forrest playing now. Moore. He scored a great goal by Moore. Oh, what a goal by Ian Storey-Moore. Winfield. Oh, he's done that. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Number 11 more. Oh, a great rugby tackle by one policeman.
Wow.
Yeah, two things from that game. One, I had hair, and B, I think the last goal was a bit of a fluke. I think
It went in the end, though.
we all get them, Nigel, don't we? Yeah, listen, a great occasion that was for the club and the team, and myself, of course, to get 3 goals in a quarter-final of a cup. Yeah, but unfortunately, we lost the semi-final to our bogey team Spurs, and finished second in the league that season to Manchester United. So, you know, they don't really forget. You're soon forgotten when you finish second, aren't you? So really disappointing. Good season, but in you know, with respect, it finished a bit of a damp squib, actually.
Ian, I've noticed in that I've done a bit of research. 65, 68, and an 89th minute winner. Does it get much better to score an 89th minute winner?
Yeah, do you want to put your tongue down a bit, mate? you look like what's that one where he gets?
Looks like you with your egghead.
Actually,
yeah, an 89th minute winner to complete a hat trick in a quarter final of the FA
Cup.
Yeah,
yeah. It was.
Didn't get much better.
The atmosphere that day, I think it was about 50,000 at the ground that day, and it was. Yeah, it was a wonderful occasion, Dan. But as I say, just a slight disappointment further down the line when we lost to Spurs in this. As you know, did you play in the cup final, Nigel?
Yeah.
I mean, it must have been fantastic. I've always wanted to play. As a kid, you want to play in a cup final, and you think, bloody hell, just one game away. But we could never beat Spurs. They're always a bogey time to Greavesy. I don't think he'd had a kick that day till he scored, but that was Jimmy, wasn't it? Prolific goal scorer. Yeah.
I've just got something else I found, and literally this just you get these nostalgic football pages and they just pop up like a certain week's results or whatever it is, and this pops up on my social media, and if you have a look, you've got Nottingham Forest 3, Sheffield United 3, December Boxing Day game.
Oh yeah, was it my second game, I think.
Is it? Oh, look, you're on the score sheet, mate.
Yeah, well, the thing was, I think that was my 60. Yeah, that's right. I think we referred to it earlier. I played my first game against Ipswich Town, which was the last game of that season, Darren. Yep. And then I didn't play again till the following season, actually. So I didn't play till the Christmas of that following season. We played Sheffield United at home, when you generally play the same team twice, so I managed. I think we were winning 3-0 actually. I scored a goal that game, and it finished up 3-3 actually. Then we went to
3-0 up at half time. Shows on there. Look at that, Burnley 6, Man United 1.
Yeah, but I mean the thing was, we played Sheffield United about 2 or 3 days later. So this was my third game for the club. We won 2-1. I scored both the goals, so that was a very Merry Christmas for me.
Brilliant.
So they were your first goals for Forest, then, I suppose, weren't they?
Say that again.
They were your first goals for Nottingham Forest, then, weren't they?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, that was my first first goal for. I was thinking the first. Like when I went Man United, I was the first 3 games I scored in every game. So it carried on to Manchester United later down the line. Yeah.
Did you find it weird when you went from Forest to Man United and you went back with Man United to play at Forest?
Before you answer that, there's a section in the book.
Yeah. Right.
I'm gonna. So this is the section in the book is called. Funny enough, Nigel, the return to the City Ground. All eyes on Moore the following Saturday, the 22nd of April, 1972, as he made his return to the City Ground with United. Forest's relegation was all but confirmed, and Moore recalls his apprehension, which he's going to recall again in a moment for us, his apprehension at possibly being the player to put the hammer in the nail of his former club. I didn't want to play. I wish I had gone up to our manager and said, can you say I've got an injury or something? Bless. You won't get that much loyalty these days. So that apprehension then really was a bad day for you in some respects.
Yeah, I mean, I know probably people think I'm, telling a story, but honestly, I just didn't feel right at all. I played there for so many years, probably 10 years. Knew all the players in the dressing room, knew they were struggling, and eventually got relegated that season. And I just didn't feel right at all. And as I said in the book, I wish I could have made an excuse not to play, but I played and I didn't play particularly well. I think I had it on my mind all the time that what Bob McKinley, the Forest coach at the time, he said, please don't score in, will you? He said, we're banging trouble. So, he put me on the spot there, didn't he, for a start? But yeah, it wasn't a very happy day for me then.
No, I mean, look, I'm going to pass over to some of the questions that people are asking now. Before I do, just to be clear, I mean, obviously you went to Man United. You've played against and with the very, very best.
Mm-hmm.
You played in the Manchester United side that, as you already mentioned, had the likes of Best, Charlton, Law, and many others. but you obviously played in an England side that had won the World Cup in the previous tournament. You know, in that England, so you've actually played in that England side, but you've also played with you played with Bobby Moore, it's mentioned in the book.
Yeah.
In other games. I'm going to fire over a question now, actually, and then we're going to so that people can have their moment. And this one, it comes from your man in America. Did you enjoy your time at Chicago as a player? But also, Ian, who was you playing against? Because Pele and all that were out there then, weren't they?
Yeah, unfortunately for myself, we played at, probably the gentleman who's asked the question, we played at Soldier Field, and it was that horrible, what do you call it, AstroTurf. I mean, it's not like it is these days. I mean, there's actually no giving it at all. And I think I only played about 7 or 8 games, and I did my ankle again on it. There was actually no giving it at all. So yeah, I loved the whole concept of being out in America. Loved Chicago, great city, but didn't particularly enjoy the football because of the surface we played on.
Right, cool. Here we go. Here's a question now. As the number 1 red dog, Ian, what do you think Forest will do this season?
Yeah, good question, really. I mean, I watched them a lot, certainly all the whole games last season, and they did okay, you know. At least they looked quite positive going forward, but they conceded quite a number of goals. So I think that's something that the manager Nuno has to put right. I think he needs to sort of stiffen that back four, if I may use that phrase, and you know, sort of not concede so many goals. But I think you know, if I was a Forest fan, to be honest with you, I mean, let me tell you, some of the fans have been absolutely tremendous at Forest over the last couple of seasons. I think Steve Cooper started it. Who's gone to Leicester now. He was a great guy and a good coach. He did a remarkable job for Forest. So I wish him well there, Steve. But yeah, Nuno's, I think probably there's been more of an attacking side since Nuno's come to the football club. But you know, they've got to sort of get it right if they can. You know, scoring goals is a good thing, but if you're conceding too many, I think they lost about 8 games, 3-2 last season. So that tells a story. So I think if I was a Forest fan, I'd be happy with them to sort of finish halfway up the season. They've established themselves in the league, and you know, just take it slowly, and try and improve as every season progresses.
You got another question there. How good was Joe Baker?
Oh, great player, absolutely wonderful player. We sort of reflected on that good season that we had when we got to the semi-final and the semi-final of the Cup and the second in the league to Manchester United. During that quarter-final against Everton, Joe got a really, really bad injury. And I'm pretty sure that this gentleman who's asked the question, this Forest fan, that if Joe had stayed fit that season, I'm sure he would have won something. I'm telling you, he was a really top-class player, Joe. He was quick, he was mobile, he was athletic, and he could score goals out of nothing. A really top player.
Cool. Time is pressing, and I did want to cover a little bit of the non-league side of it.
Yeah.
So before we do that, just a couple of quick fire questions.
Yeah.
Maybe if you guys think of anything as well, jump in. Who's the greatest player you've played with?
Oh, George Best. Hugely talented, natural ability, first class. Wonderful player.
Against?
I think we mentioned 1 or 2 of the Leeds players.
Yeah.
I think just as a whole, the Leeds were certainly the hardest team I've had to play against. You know, they all knew how to put the boot in. Listen, let me tell you something. They're really good players, and they didn't really have played that way. But good side, but very difficult to play against.
Yeah. And what's your greatest moment in football?
I think it's got to be pulling the England shirt on, really. I think, as Nigel will tell you that, I think to get selected for your country I think that must be the highlight of any player's career.
Guys, anything you want to fire away with?
Yeah. Ian, this might be the most ridiculous question you've ever been asked. But I'm still going to ask it anyway. There can't have been too many players in the 60s, early 70s, with a double-barrelled surname.
No, that's true.
You might have been looked at as quite posh. Did you ever get any stick for having a double-barrelled surname, or was there any funny incidents?
You know, that's a brilliant question, because, you know, when I was young and breaking into the team, I thought, quite rightly, you just said that, rather a posh name, Storey-Moore. And I didn't want to use it, to be honest. I was that embarrassed, to be honest with you, Dan. You're exactly right. And it wasn't really until later life that I thought, well, I might as well use it now. But these days, I mean, there's so many about, isn't there, double barrel names?
Yeah.
So, but in those days, I can't remember. There might have been one other or maybe two, but it was a bit of an embarrassment. I was trying to break into the team. Storey-Moore, he's a footballer.
When I got into the Watford side, obviously I wasn't well known, so people were calling me Ian Callaghan.
From Liverpool.
You must have played against him a few times.
Oh yeah, Liverpool were a great
good player, was he?
Nigel Callaghan, good player. Him and Thompson down the left, Callaghan down the right. Two really, really good wide players. Absolutely.
I met Ian Callaghan once, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, just a real quick story. I was in Blackpool in this tatty old hotel called the Norbrick Castle. I was about 17. I was in this bar and I said to my mate, I goes, I'm sure that's Ian Callaghan and Roger Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And my mate, who knows nothing about football, was like, no, it's not. And I was like, I'm sure it is. So he went over and asked him, are you Ian Callaghan? And they were like, no. And as he was coming back to tell me no, they turned around and was like, yeah, we're only having you on. So I went over there and had a little chat with them.
Yeah. Oh, listen, nice people as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, they were lovely.
I thought Peter Thompson was a really talented player, really excellent winger, could go past people, score goals. I think he was really talented. A bit like Nigel, down that other side.
There's a lad here that Charlie wants you to talk about, John Robertson. I'll let you go on with that. When I left Watford, I was playing on the right wing, and Arthur Cox wanted me to play on the left wing at Derby. So I know you're right-footed, but he said, I think you can do the same job as John Robertson done at Forest.
Mm-hmm.
And he was right-footed as well, wasn't he? So
basically he was right-footed, Nigel. But I mean, he was that talented, John. He could use both feet, really. But basically he was right-footed, and had a wonderful career there, didn't he? League titles, European Cups. So John, I see John on a regular basis. He's not in the best of health at the moment, but God bless him. But he's really not a great guy. No airs and graces about Robbo, and really down to earth, and he was a wonderfully talented player.
You watched him and you just expected him to go past people, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah. Well, I think that was our job, wasn't it? You're a wide player. You expected to make something happen. I think you referred to Saka, or I watched Grealish a lot. I don't know why they don't seem to have a lot of variety in the game. They always want to play backwards and square, don't they? These days, they never seem to threaten on the outside so much, do they? These wide players of today. Whether they're asked to play like that, I don't know. It might be that Pep Guardiola and Arteta also want them to play like that. I honestly don't know, but I think I'd like to see them be a bit more positive, a bit more progressive in terms of going down the wide outside, actually.
Yeah.
Do you know what? We could probably go on all night like this, and maybe it'd be lovely.
Well, I've not had my tea yet, Gary.
Yeah, no, I'm going to hurry it up. If you've enjoyed it tonight, maybe it'd be nice to come on just as part of the team.
Absolutely. But, I will some other time. Absolutely, Gary. Probably when the season starts, Yeah.
But what I want to do before we do wrap it up is talk about non-league football, because firstly, you recently got made the ambassador for Carlton Town.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I know. Well, me and Nigel have been there, and I've been there a couple of times now. And Boatsy was on last week, and they're such an impressive club in how they work so hard to keep it going, and the effort they put into the club is fantastic, and no doubt, like many other clubs up and down the country. But once you had your injury, you then moved over a lower level of football that you could play, and you were player manager at Burton Albion for some time. And you obviously went to Shepshed Charterhouse
later on,
who have actually made some big name players out of that club, haven't they?
Oh, what, from Burton?
From Shepshed.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure at Shepshed, but certainly Burton Albion. I mean, they've had one or two quite big name managers, actually. It was through a friend of mine how I went there. The chairman, he's just sold the club, actually. A gentleman called Ben Robinson, who'd done a remarkable job at the club. He started with Neil Warnock, Nigel Clough, Roy McFarlane. So he's had quite some big names as managers there. And, you know, it's a wonderful little club there, and you know, such nice people. I do go to all home games, and so I'm looking forward to them having a good season. Although Ben has sold the club now to a Swedish and Norwegian consortium, so. Yeah, but I still, you know, wanted to go every week and you know, give my support to the football because of Ben, really. And then I've got involved, as you quite rightly said, with Carlton Town, you know, through Boatsy, really, and Mick Garton, who's the chairman there.
Yeah,
and
Mick,
you know, the first time I went there, I met such wonderful, friendly people as you've done yourself, Gaz, and you know, I just sort of took to the club, and you know, make me so welcome when I go there that when they asked me to be ambassador, I couldn't really turn it down. So I look forward to that role, and I hope to see them quite a number of times this season.
Yeah. No, hopefully, yeah. I think they want to try and get Nigel back up there again because
absolutely,
that went down well against Stockton. Did the pre-match chat and that fantastic. You know, but non-league football, guys, I just want to say this now. Today, they released the TV fixtures for the lower league clubs, and they are going to absolutely destroy it. It's a mess. They're going to have 5 o'clock games in League One. They're going to be every week 3 or 4 games. It's going to end up like the Premier League. They're going everywhere. Now, my opinion of this is, chaps, I don't know what you think. We've seen a 300% increase in the attendances at non-league football. I think this is going to drive more out of that because, you know, we know 5:30 on a Saturday night in League One.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I know.
You know, and they're doing Friday nights, Sundays. They're ripping the whole EFL apart.
Yeah,
the way they're going to. And I do think the beneficiary of this will be non-league.
Well, I hope
more
so.
And more, we're seeing it anyway. But this is another push, you know, for people to go. Do you know what? I just want to go on a Saturday afternoon and watch football.
There's the expense as well going. I mean, you know, to watch Premiership football in particular now is an arm and a leg job, isn't it? You know, and I think what puts a lot of people off now. I don't know whether Nigel agree with me that, you know, the wages are getting astronomical out, and people are thinking, "God, blimey, you know, playing plays at that type of money when I'm working 6 days a week, etc. for a pittance." And I think I'm not saying that it puts, you know, many people off, but I'm sure it puts some people off.
I think it is it put me off, and that puts me off modern football is the money that these players are getting. Now, Darren, I don't know if you can help me with this one. There's a 16-year-old player who has just been bought for a quarter. Was it $250 million?
Oh, crikey!
Really?
I'm sure of it. Hang on.
That one.
Proper football. The social media fans. Was it called?
Well, just while you're thinking about
16-year-old, it's to do with Barcelona and all that lot.
Really?
And it's the most ridiculous sum of money. If anybody listening knows what I'm on about, because I'm not 100% here, but it is stupid money.
This is a story I've heard from Bert Dalbin. They just sold a lad, a 10 years old for £11,000. A 10-year-old, and they're giving him £500 a week pocket money at 10 years old. I know, ridiculous, isn't it?
Ian and Kelly, I started playing football under 11, so that was in 1981. What was the age group, the lowest age group that you could play organised football when you started?
It was nowhere near. I mean, I think it's far too young now. Really, I think probably at school, really, under 11, under 12, maybe. I mean, under 6s in it, under 7. It's ridiculous.
Thing is, I'm about 11-year-old, I think. I started,
like that one at Nige.
But I actually wrote off to Man City for a trial when I was 12.
Yeah,
and they said call us when you're 14.
Yeah, it was a bit more. I think in those days it was a bit more of a realistic age. I mean, how can anybody judge at 7, 8, 9, 10 years of whether they're going to be a top player? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
They've got scouts out of these games where under 8 games, under 10 games.
Yeah. I'll just letting them play and enjoy themselves, the kids. Crikey.
I'm gonna dig into that because it's a 16-year-old, and I'm not kidding. The money was absolutely horrendous. So $250,000 is nothing, is it? In this day and age with football, but Charlie, what you saying, mate? Just bought your book. Oh, sold. See?
Oh, well done. You're on commission, guys. You're on commission.
Mate, it is. I've got it, mate. It's a fantastic book. Because
thank you. Have you written one, Nigel, by the way?
They are. Sorry, Chuck. Right.
Sorry.
Okay, that's it. Sorry. Oh, that is £250 million almost. Yeah, I was all right. Lamy Yamal.
Oh, he plays for Spain now.
Oh, is he the wide right player?
Yeah, he's the other winger.
Yeah, that's right, Darren. Yeah. Well, he looks the part, doesn't he? What I've seen of him.
He's worth every penny.
PSG to Barcelona at £211 million. $250 million. I got it right. Yeah.
You joke. Bloody hellfire. Oh, it's gone stupid and absolutely ridiculous. It really has.
Non-league's the best.
Absolutely. This is why. That is a fact. It's gone up.
You Nottingham people, get yourself to Carlton Town this season.
Oh, well, my local club's just got promoted into the league that Carlton used to be in. That so they're in Northern Premier Midlands.
Oh yeah.
My local club just down the road have just got promoted into that. Wellingborough, Darren.
Wellingborough Town, yeah, they've been promoted
into that. So they've got some great local derbies there as well. Charlie's saying mental. Yeah, let me just so it's 211. Sorry, I'm delaying all this a little bit.
Yeah, you're right.
PSG to Barcelona, absolutely mental. And here we go. I think Brighton have just bought a player for 30.3 million from Chelsea or Newcastle. Not played a single minute of first team football. Madness.
Well, I think Forest have just bought the lad Anderson from Newcastle, haven't they? I think
they have. Yeah, 32 million, I think.
Something like that. I think he only made 11 starts last season in a team. Yeah.
It's got out of control, hasn't it? And it's ruining the game, I think.
For the younger fans, this is their normal. This is their normality.
Yeah, and for us. Yeah.
The 1 million
right, Darren.
Came in Trevor Francis, bloody hell, and it's like, whoa. And it was a gradual interest.
Oh, well, even a certain Ian Storey-Moore at 200,000 in 1972. That was a bit, whoa, what's going on with football?
That's over 50. It's just like astronomical. It's ridiculous now. It's crazy. And this is one of the reasons why it turns us off. Pro football, isn't it? It's another world. Coming with big money, it means the players get more money, which I actually don't blame them for, because I would turn down like $1 million a week or something like that. But the gap between the fans and the club just get further and further apart, and that's where non-league steps in.
I'll tell you what, back in my day in Ian, so I mean, you must have got some satisfaction at the end of the month when you got your wages in and you got 3 win bonuses out of 4. You get excited because you got a bigger wage packet and you felt you'd achieved something. Nowadays,
I saw in the paper today just talking about how football's changed. All the players' wives landing in the private jets at the airports. There's a picture. I thought,
it's like 7 of them, isn't there?
Everyone arrived in a private jet. Their own 35 grand apparently. So, but that's a cup of tea to the players, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah. But look, we're going to wrap it up. We've been going an hour and 20 minutes. Just want to thank everyone who's contributed to our show tonight. I want to thank, as normal, Darren. I'll let you all have a last word, by the way. I thank Darren and Nigel as always, and a massive thank you to you, Ian. And hopefully we get you back on again. It'd be great. It's been absolutely brilliant. And like I said, we could have talked all night, about it. So somewhere you just got to say enough. People, we've got to go. So I'm going to give everyone a last word. All I'm going to say is so England are playing Saturday. Nigel, do you DJ Saturday or Friday?
Saturday.
Right. Okay.
It's a 5 o'clock kickoff, isn't it?
Yeah. So we'll be aiming to schedule a show for Sunday as normal, and we'll pick it up there. I am on holiday, and then we might have some difficulty with that, but we're going to give it a go. So 6 o'clock Sunday, folks. But I've got to be doing it from a caravan up at Sutton-on-Sea.
There it is.
Yeah, that's where we're going to end up. So hopefully, I'll get enough of a signal and we can get it all underway. So join us on Sunday. So last words round the table from Darren.
Yeah, just two very quick things. Firstly, I forgot to mention about the Austria-Turkey match last night. The referee was unbelievably good. He was ignoring all the players, just fell to the ground with the faintest touch, let the game flow. Yeah, what a wonderful referee, a Portuguese guy. And secondly, just I was saying off camera to the chaps anyway, so it's nothing new to them, but a real honour to speak to Callie every week and Ian this week. It's like quite humbling for just like a normal football fan. So thanks for coming on, all guys. And Gaz, what you do, mate, fantastic, holding it all together like a pro.
Yeah, I'd just like to say an absolute privilege for asking me, Gary, to be on your programme and, to be able to be with Darren and Nigel, who, by the way, was a fantastic footballer. He had a great career. But, just an absolute privilege to work with you, and I've really enjoyed
Thank you.
it. Hope to speak to you all again.
Oh, you will,
Yeah.
and we'll be catching up. We'll come up. Funny enough, oh no, where was I? No, I was at Boston, wasn't I? But no, we'll come up to Burton and do a thing up there if they'll have us.
Know when you're coming.
Yeah,
So,
we'll have to get permission off the club, and we'll
Of course.
come up and we can interview supporters and whatnot, and
Absolutely,
show the ground and promote the club basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you
So,
can where they come from, can't you? From non-league football.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be doing that. So I'll give you a shout. Maybe you can help us arrange that with the club then.
Absolutely.
Last words from Nigel then.
Yeah, two things. Great getting to speak to you, Ian. It's
you.
been brilliant. It's always good when we get guests on, and it's been really good tonight. And I'm going to say one more thing because Gary forgets it every week. I'm on Mixcloud at 9:30 tonight. If you want to listen to some good music, come and join me.
Trust me, it's great music, folks. It really is. From me, last words as always. Be safe. Have a lovely week. Enjoy the rest of. We'll enjoy Saturday in England. If not, come and have a good rant on Sunday with us. That's it from us. Ian, don't go anywhere if you hang on there for a moment. But yeah, enjoy your week. Be safe, everyone, and come on, England.